Hello! In today's video, I'm going to show you a branding presentation that I did for a client of mine. Now, the purpose of today's video is not only to walk you through the thought process and the table of content that goes into creating a professional branding presentation, but also showing you how you can take a simple logo that you did or a very nice logo that you did and turn it into a full-on branding presentation worth putting in your portfolio. So without further ado, let's start. This is the logo I created for my client, Coffee News AI. First off, we're gonna start with the cover slide. I decided, and I've seen a lot of people use different methods when it comes to the cover slide. You can have a mock-up on the cover slide, which is also good. I decided I wanted my cover page to have a branding press and with the portfolio date and my name, Designer Sana Creates, alongside the brand here. What I did here though was add the bird just so I can give it a more customized look. The next slide we're going to is the table of content. As you can see, I prefer to have my table of content pretty neat, and I'd like to incorporate the branding in every slide. So it's not just like any typical branding presentation. It has a bird, it has a mailbox, it's related to news. And just write a simple text, here's what we'll cover. You can also write table of content. I mean, that's not a bad idea. I just like to make it seem more humanized. Okay, you can have it as well like this, but I prefer, here's what we'll cover. You'll notice in the background I have this like scribbled doodle thing, and this is all made so you can follow through this branding presentation and just feel how consistent it is. So before rushing into point number one, brand overview, I'd like to have a breakpoint kind of slide that prepares you. You're gonna see the brand overview, not just immediately showing the brand overview. And as you can see, I incorporated like a letter opened with a bird inside of it, just to keep the consistency of everything. The most important things to mention are what is a brand, who is it talking to, what's the mission, and what's the problem it's solving. So I added all of these four elements into this slide. Now I did notice I have a mistake, and I'm not gonna remove this in the video. I make mistakes, and it's okay. And you can see here, I wanted to mention this. The yellow is also one of the colors of this brand, and I kind of like smoothened the entrance of the color yellow before I added it a bit here in the background on a larger scale. Moving on, because it's not enough just to mention what is and who are and the mission and problem solved. Now I want you to avoid the borders over here. Once it's exported in PDF, they won't show, but this is just for me. It's also very important to mention in your branding presentation, like the brand, tone, and personality, which makes you understand the messaging of the brand even further. You'll notice that before starting any type of a new chapter, if you want, a new subject, in the presentation, like the brand overview had its own slide, the logo concept has its own slide. And this is how you show your client that you care about every single detail, because you're kind of smoothly making the way before you introduce a new topic. And also it gives you an opportunity to be a bit creative. So in the logo concept, I just thought about two birds playing around with the vectors, with the anchors, and just letting them have fun in a sense that it does show the spirit that you had when you were designing the logo, that you were having fun coming up with a concept. So logo concept, I broke down the three elements which helped me create the final look of the pigeon, which are the pigeons were actually used to deliver news. This is not something uncommon. I guess we all know this. So it was very important to me to create a pigeon that looked friendly and kind of modern. The second symbol is news. Obviously, I want the person who will look at the logo to directly know kind of what the messaging is going to be about, or once they know what Coffee News AI is, it would make sense to later see the logo and see a letter there. And the whole acts as a portal. Actually, when a funny story, when I uploaded the post, the carousel about the logo breakdown and the logo concept, a lot of people saw this as a coffee cup, like from a different perspective. So that was also very cool, and I didn't think about it, but yeah. You'll notice so far that the presentation is clean. right? I can say that. It's clean and it's kind of direct, and the typeface used is also, why isn't this centered? Is also very easy to read. After the logo breakdown, we're gonna have here the logo, okay? So this is where the logo is. This was the final outcome of the logo, a pigeon, a cute pigeon hanging out from a portal or a coffee cup holding the news for today. And to talk more about the logo, I made it in gray and white here, black, gray and white, just to show you guys if a logo is still kind of readable, or you can kind of figure out what it is when it's in grayscale, that means it passed a logo check. Basically here I'm just showing where the 3 elements are, which are pretty obvious. Then we have the logo lockups. So as I mentioned, this is a mini branding presentation, which means there are no mock-ups of the app, there are no social media kind of visuals. This is a very basic branding presentation. So logo lockups will show us how the logo is vertically and horizontally, just maintaining space. This can also be used like in the logo guide. So after a logo lockup, let's see what we have, logo concept. Then we have the color palette. So as you noticed, each breaking chapter will have its own slide. I forgot what the term is. Anyway, we're still in the logo lockups. And then I wanted to show the simplified logo when it's developed into an app. Moving on, the color and typography. So as you can see, I actually merged the color and typography into one slide, showing you that first I'm going to talk about the color, then I'm going to talk about the typography. These are the primary colors that I chose, and these are the secondary colors. So by now, you will see that the yellow and black and the red are the primary colors, which I also used in the branding presentation. This is optional. You can have a black and white branding presentation, and then in the slides where the logo is mentioned, you can have the colors. But I love creating a very customized branding presentation. What I also love to do in the color palettes is name them. So this is red alert, obviously because it's news. Then we have the serious black, also because it's news. It's alarming and it's serious. And then we have your yellow fellow. Your yellow fellow is the bird, because it's a friendly way to get your news. Then for the secondary colors, I just wrote them as is and used an arrow icon. Which is still relevant to the topic of news and sending letters and paper planes and all those things. Later we have the typography, and what's really healthy when you want to show your typography is adding a little example on the side here. What do we have after that? Let's go. We have the character illustrations. This is what I really want to talk about. Even if you're creating a mini branding presentation, and sometimes even if your client doesn't ask for these character illustrations, taking an extra hour or 2 and creating customized character illustration that they can use for their social media, that they can use as stickers, that they can use as anything they want, shows that you put extra care even when the client did not ask. Because you have to think about branding projects for your clients as their babies, and you want to take care of their babies as much as they want to take care of their own babies. So it really matters. For the character illustrations, as you can see, I have a pigeon with a letter on the side coming out of a male, and they turned out to be a bit cute. Nevertheless, I did use them. So I did use them in the whole branding presentation anyways. So I used them to enhance the whole look of the presentation, and at the end of the day, I gave them to the client and won those extra points. And then at the end of presentation. And this is what I really wanted to show you guys, the final look of the whole branding presentation, just so you can see how synchronized and how consistent all the slides are, and they all look related to one another. And this is what a successful branding presentation, might I say, looks like. Now, if I want to turn this into a portfolio, which I will in the next video that I want to create, it's gonna be pretty easy for me because I have the background, I have the doodles of the background, I have different character illustrations, I know the colors, the whole vibe, if you wish, is right in front of me. So Rather than creating a project for your portfolio and then creating the branding presentation, which is not the right way to go about things, create your branding presentation, have it there, and then turn it easily into a portfolio project. And this was for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and good luck with your designs. You got this, creative humans.